Whew. All right, baby. It's playoff time. Enjoyed the bye week, but now it's time for the fight. Let's go, Chiefs. Yeah.
5 week?
Yeah, it's our bye week, isn't it?
I mean, this is your bye week, but you didn't have a bye week last week.
We didn't?
I mean, it makes sense that you'd think that your team didn't show up, so you probably didn't either. I messed up.
Oh my god, we did it!
I don't want to hear it from a guy whose half his fan base is Swifties. Broncos country, let's cry.
Back to the Super Bowl.
Why'd they put the trash cans next to the Cowboys helmet?
You could take it and show it up your.
Peace!
What I really need to be hearing from you, though, is thank you.
Good afternoon, football fans, and welcome to the playoffs. It is the best time of the year, the greatest time of the year, the wholesome time of the year, and some happiness and a lot of sadness be going around too. It's the NFL playoffs, baby. We are here. I am your host, professional wrestler, and Kansas City Chiefs fanatic Christian Temple, joined alongside as always by my fellow playoff contender, the terrible towel twirling Trajan. And how are you feeling coming into these playoffs here, especially how Week 18 ended up for you guys?
I've felt more optimistic about playoffs in the past, but hey, I'm in the playoffs. You didn't think that we would be here. Most people didn't think we'd be here, but yes, we're here.
You are there. Hey, I guess that you were going to make the wild card.
True.
But more on that later. Spoiler alert. We'll be going through the our division and wild card picks that we made at the beginning of the season. Spoiler alert, it does not go well for Trajan. Uh, gotta stop putting your faith in the Chargers, man. I'm telling you.
One of these days.
One of these days. There you go.
Dude.
I'll laugh if you pick Denver next year and it actually becomes the Chargers.
That would be funny.
All right. Anyway, yes, there are some Week 18 matchups to go with, but we shall start with the Saturday matchup. And I guess we're going to be doing this a couple times here, too. But welcome to potentially the penultimate. I don't want to talk about it for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Unfortunately, just not a good last four going into the playoffs here, too. So, but as you can see here, yeah, it was not a great ending to this year. So, but Trajan, I will let you have the floor on this one. At the very least, this team's not in the playoffs with you, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. We set all of our starters for this game, so nothing to really see on this one. It's just
Oh,
a team really
wait,
hungry to get into the playoffs, and
wait a minute here. I think we got the script mixed up here.
exactly. I mean, it's right on from what I said. I would be more okay with this loss. I mean, the Bengals, they had to get in. They had to win to get in.
Mhm.
So I understand why they did so well. And they didn't even really, I mean, compared to their other games, this 5-game win streak that they had, our defense locked them down. I mean, that first quarter is really what did us in, but we held them to field goals the rest. So the defense did their job against a very hot offense in the Bengals. Our offense cannot say the same thing. Najee was disappointing. Did not make things happen. Wilson, his numbers weren't that good, but I will throw in Pickens decided he didn't have hands this game. So he dropped a lot of passes that he normally would catch, and age, especially a long bomb. He had a long bomb in his hands. I don't know how he did not have it, and that would have been total momentum changer there if we would have got that. But it is what it is. Just not a good performance by anyone on the offense. I mean, there was not. I mean, you could say Pat Fryermuth was a bright spot. He had a big drop as well, though.
Until
At the end of the day, I'm not as upset on that drop because it was over the middle of the field. One of those plays that, hey, we might not even got set by the time we got down there, it was pretty deep.
Mhm.
But you catch it. You catch that ball. It's just Russell Wilson not throwing it out of bounds, instead running it on a pointless down. And when we had 30 seconds left, Najee not doing more. I mean, he did have a touchdown, but he should have had way more. Um, yeah, I guess Mike Williams had a catch for 25 yards, and we decided not to target him the rest of the game. That's a bright spot.
Mhm. So I
I
guess
mean,
the biggest thing here too is no T.J. Watt.
TJ was out there a little bit. But I mean, he is dealing with an injury,
Hmm.
was coming into this. I understand not playing him that hard. It almost seemed like he was taking it a little easy in this game. And he was on the sideline a lot. We need him for the playoffs, so I mean, we're no matter what in it. I would have been more okay with, we saw that the Ravens won. Tomlin comes out and says, "We know we could beat anyone. We believe we could beat anyone. Doesn't matter our seeding," and rested our starters. I would have rathered that in this game.
There you go. All right. Well, speaking of the Ravens, that is who you have drawn in the playoff lot here. You have split the series with them. The only difference being you were victorious at your home. They were victorious at their home, and this particular matchup will be at the Ravens' house. So, how are we feeling going into wild card weekend, going back to Baltimore?
We have a recipe for success with Baltimore. I'm not hitting the panic button at all. I mean, will we lose? Maybe. There's more odds against us than for us to win. It is a team we know. It is a team that we have certain feelings towards. There should be motivation on the line on that. I feel like this is almost a must-win game for Tomlin, so there's that added energy there. TJ Watt, there's some urgency on his side because he is yet to win a playoff game. Um, yeah. I mean, the last people to win a playoff game on the roster is Boswell and Hayward, and that was against the Chiefs with an all-field goal performance.
I was gonna say, and one of those players was responsible for all the points in that game. So there you go. All right. Well, for those curious, keeping track at home, Baltimore is opening up as 8.5 point favorites, and according to the matchup predictor on ESPN, 72.2% chance of beating the Steelers. So, but never tell me the odds, right?
I like being underdogs. I hate it more when they say we are going to win. I'd rather everyone doubt us.
There you go. And truthfully, I'd rather play you guys rather than the Chargers probably next in the divisional round. So
Be careful with your words, sir. Be careful with your words.
kind of like this next team chanting, "We want Buffalo." Oh man, you're going to get Buffalo. You may not like it, but you're going to get Buffalo. So, but yes, let's go to part 2 of I don't want to talk about it. And truthfully, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. I'm going to more talk about like how my weekend went rather than talking about the game itself because it was my birthday weekend. The wife and I, we drove over to Denver. We saw that the Avs were going to play the same weekend as the Chiefs were going to be in Denver. So I was like, all right, cool. We'll spend a weekend there, have some fun. Love going to Denver. It's a fun place to hang out and have some fun at. Go to the Avalanche game on my birthday, and man, my undefeated streak came to an end. So unfortunately, the Avs fell to the Montreal Canadiens. Final score 2-1 in a shootout. So it was a fun game. There were chances on both sides for goals, and the Avs unfortunately just ran out of gas right at the end, and just couldn't pull it off in the shootout. And of course, I didn't have many delusions to the fact that the Chiefs backups were going and third string and practice squad was going to take down a team that was, absolutely needing a win to get into the playoffs, especially how things went for them last week. So, I'm not going to spend too much time breaking down what happened. I mean, it was kind of the expected result. Denver is a good team. I mean, look, Bo Nix had himself a heck of a game, 321 yards, 4 touchdowns. Cortland Sutton, 5 catches, almost 100 yards. He had a touchdown as well, too. I do have to point out there was a very funny play in the back of the end zone where the Chiefs actually probably should have picked it off, but it bounced up in the air twice, and the receiver still caught it in the back of the end zone. I was sitting there, and it was towards the end zone where I was sitting, and when the fans around me were celebrating too, I turned around and I fist pumped a couple of them too. I told them, I can't even be mad. That was just hilarious. So I gave them their congratulations. All in all, Denver's a fun place to watch a game. I mean, they're not really, too many, pricks out there. I mean, there's a couple that throw, a snide comment at you, and I just threw it back at them, too. I said, hey, best of luck against Buffalo next week. And when they showed the clip, we were gone by then, but when they showed the clip of the section chanting, "We want Buffalo," I was getting flashbacks to when Toronto, the Maple Leafs, win their first series since 2004, they chant, "We want Florida," and then they go to Florida and get absolutely smashed in 5 games. So, if you really want Buffalo, you're probably going to get Buffalo. So we'll see how that turns out for them. But, for the Broncos themselves, a team that hasn't won a playoff game since their Super Bowl in 2015. I mean, their streak is almost as long as your guys's. Or, I mean, it is longer than your guys's by 1 year. They're playing with house money right now with the young team they have. They got a strong defense. They got a good-looking rookie quarterback here. We'll see how that sophomore slump treats him. I mean, case in point, C.J. Stroud. But, Denver, hats off to them. Great season for them all in all. I think, what was it, USA Today said they were only going to get 5 wins. So something along those lines. So
we did not have them that high either.
We did not have them that high either. We'll go through that, our highs and lowers at a later time. But, yep, Denver's in. Good on them. But yeah, that's like I said, Chiefs. There were literally 2 players on the Chiefs that they signed that week and then released them the very next day. If that goes to show, how serious they were really taking this game and everything, as far as like, yeah, we got a couple guys from off the street. Yeah, go ahead and hop on in there too. Show us what you got. Yeah. So
now, you want to know an interesting thing that I saw online?
Oh, here we go.
So last time they were in was on their Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
One.
Yep.
They will be playing the Super Bowl MVP.
Oh,
that game with Von Miller.
Oh my God!
Move on to the playoffs.
I completely forgot about that, and actually, that is funny because I didn't put 2 and 2 together, but I did see Von Miller's, I think, his Instagram story, where it was like, it's like, I don't want to do this or whatever. Too, it's like this. I forget what movie it was too. It's like the guy pointed the gun at someone too. He's like, I don't want to put you down, but like I still love you or something like that. I forget what it was, but yeah, he had something pretty fun on Instagram, and it's like, yeah, he's probably gonna go off against Bo Nix, poor guy.
Yep.
He hasn't been fantastic this year. I think he's been battling injury, but this is gonna be the one game where he actually just he wrecks everything. Yeah, I'll be willing to bet.
Yep. All right. It's very possible.
It is very possible. Alrighty, well those are the final regular season matchups for our respective teams. But now it's time to move on to the playoff picture. And by playoff picture, we're moving on to our predictions that we made at the beginning of the year. And I remember last year, it came down to a tiebreaker. It came down to one particular wild card team that I made a bold prediction on to. And this year, not quite so close. Not quite as close. As you can see, I took this year once again. My streak is still alive. Final score 7-4. Yeah, the Commanders came through for me, but I really didn't need them to. Because once again, the foolish decision to pick the Chargers over the Chiefs in the AFC West. And, hey, there was a moment in time where the Steelers had their own destiny in their hands. And I really thought you were going to be correct on that. I really thought it's like, all right, well, it's going to be a wash on there. Steelers will take the division, and the Ravens will get the wild card. So there you go. Imagine if that happened, it'd be a lot closer score, wouldn't it?
It'd be a lot closer. Not putting my faith in the Bengals for a wild card. The Bills in there probably would have helped.
At least I had the Bills in the playoffs, but man, wow, were we wrong with the Dolphins.
I mean, it's partly injury. I
Hmm.
think they would have done better, but the Bills, I mean, they just played very well this year. Hats off to them. They did not need Diggs.
No, they really didn't. They just needed Josh Allen and James Cook apparently.
Exactly.
um, Texans, I mean, that was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, unless the Titans
Yeah.
or Colts just absolutely just like played out of their mind, we kind of knew the Jags were going to be cooked. Because but yeah, Texans, that was a no-brainer, even though they almost fell by the wayside leading up into the final weeks too. The Colts actually had a chance towards the end, but yeah, that was the Texans division to lose. And obviously, Chiefs, Bengals, Ravens for you. I did give you guys a little bit of credit. I picked you where you belonged, and that was the wild card.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so so you're welcome. Um, moving on to the NFC, though. Oh, man, the poor 49ers. We should have known. It happens every time. The one good year, you think they're going to try to build it off of it, too, and then just the injuries just started piling up on them.
Yeah, not a good year for them. Not a good not a good anything, really. I
Mm.
mean, one to forget about.
Oh, definitely. Although I do have to give ourselves a pat on the back. We did at least have the Rams going into the playoffs. Although we didn't think they'd win the division, but I guess we must have saw something in Matt Stafford once again. I mean, for the most part, I think the Rams like they did the best job of probably staying the healthiest the whole time because you look
Oh,
at the Cardinals, they were battling some injuries. The Seahawks, they were having trouble with their running backs and a couple receivers staying healthy. And of course, the Seahawks kind of shot themselves in the foot with some games that they really should have won. Like
yeah.
look at the Giants game and everything too, and they lose like that. But the Rams, I mean, that game against the Bills, I mean, that really showed like the ceiling of like what their potential is, and who knows, they could be a dark horse in the playoffs.
It's very true.
Alrighty. Well, we were both wrong about the Cowboys. We thought we went all in on the Cowboys too, didn't we?
Yeah, that's just a bad choice.
Yeah. Speaking of bad choices, I didn't have the Eagles in at all. I really thought they were gonna fall apart, and they proved me wrong. Saquon, that was the right move. Good on you for at least picking them in the playoffs. But man, what were you thinking with the Cowboys? Oof. And what was I thinking with Kirk Cousins? Honestly, with the Falcons, they had the division. They had it right in their hands. But yeah, that was a good call on your part. Getting Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay to win the division. Good call on you.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins, they could have had it. They could have. That's
They
the
shoulda.
sad.
They shoulda.
But oh well.
Oh well. And hats off to both of us for getting the Packers. And I'm just gonna give myself a big pat on the back, big self high five for seeing the potential of one Jaden Daniels. Hats off to you, Jaden. Thanks for getting me that extra win that I really did not need. But yeah, I just look back at last year, like all of the hype for Bryce Young, right? Like he's gonna be the guy and everything too. And then C.J. Stroud just quietly has like one of the best rookie campaigns to start off with, gets his team to the playoffs. And it just in the back of my mind, I thought, okay, everybody's like really hyping up Caleb Williams. What if Jaden Daniels just goes in and just has like a fantastic year? And I thought maybe with Dan Quinn as their new head coach and the new ownership with Washington, this would be the year they probably turn things around. But again, we'll see how the sophomore slump if that affects Jaden next year. I may not pick Jaden Daniels to make the playoffs next year again. Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, crazier things have happened.
Crazier things have happened, and some crazy things are definitely going to happen. It is the playoffs, baby. You never know what's going to happen to you. The Steelers will be on Amazon Prime Video this week, aren't they?
Prime Video, we will be playing 6:30 is the time. It is at Baltimore. So let's see what we can do. Here we go.
At least it's not Mason Rudolph, right?
Yeah, I have a lot more hope in our QB situation than last year. I mean, last year it was just wow. How did we make it? You guys suck. You other teams that are in the hunt suck. 'Cause we
Even-
had three quarterbacks.
and these two quarterbacks have the same record as them. It's crazy, right?
It is crazy.
So, well, best of luck to you. Like I said, I would much rather play you guys than potentially who we're honestly going to play, and it's probably going to be the LA Chargers. And boy, howdy, is it tough to beat a team in your division 3 times in 1 year. So, yeah, I know Harbaugh was going to be very motivated here too. So, all right, and then obviously the Bills will taking on the Broncos, the Chargers taking on the Texans. We've got the Rams and the Vikings, which actually has just been announced. It is being moved to Glendale, Arizona. Obviously, the wildfires having a huge impact on that area. Our thoughts with everyone affected up in the Los Angeles area too. That is a terrible tragedy there. Lions have the bye week, and the Eagles taking on the Packers. I think I got them all, didn't I? Oh, Commanders, Buccaneers. That was the other game too. So yes. So, yes, we will be back next week to recap all of the wild card games and hopefully not putting a eulogy on the Steelers season. So, there you go. Hopefully not for you.
Hopefully not. You got selfish reasons.
I have very selfish reasons too, but I'm a very selfish man. I like my hardware.
Be careful what you wish for. That's all I gotta say.
I won't be chanting "We want Pittsburgh." That's for sure. But I wouldn't mind it.
That's bulletin board material right there. I mean, that's yeah.
Alrighty, well, thank you everybody so much for watching. Click like if you enjoyed the episode. Click subscribe if you really like to. Tell all of your friends. Thank you all for joining us for this awesome regular season, and we can't wait to enjoy the ride with you all through the playoffs. This is Temple and Trajan, signing off.